We got some official Rashod Bateman contract numbers to go over. We also have a lot of jersey numbers to announce. We'll talk a little bit more about why Mike Green hasn't signed his deal. And we got some updates in the AFC North. All that and more in today's episode of the Flock Rundown.
Ravens Flock. The Flock Rundown is the place to be.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown. So we got some official jersey number changes. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this, but I definitely wanted to just go over it in case anyone hasn't and just talk about it a little bit. So Trenton Simpson did give up number 23, and Jaire Alexander will be wearing 23 this season. Trenton Simpson will be wearing number 32. And there were some other secondary number changes as well. Awuzie will now be wearing 3, and Bo Braid will now be wearing 25, which is what Awuzie was just wearing. First of all, I love all of these number changes, to be honest with you. I am surprised that Trenton Simpson gave up 23, not that Jaire isn't the caliber of player who could come into a team and take a number, but I know 23 had a lot of sentimental value to Trenton Simpson, so I am surprised that he gave that up. So Trenton Simpson will be wearing number 32, and Jaire Alexander will be in that 23, which he has always worn in the NFL, so it'll be easy to see him out there in the number 23. I don't think that that's going to be weird at all, and honestly, him getting his jersey number like that makes me think even more that if he's fully healthy and has a great year this year, that he's the type of guy that the Ravens would extend. I don't know if this is just a one-year deal. I know technically it is, but I talked about it a little bit in the last video. I really do think since the Ravens were trying to trade for him and then they ended up getting him, he's getting his old number back. His dad's saying he's healthier than ever. We'll see how it plays out for sure. They're definitely not about to just drop an extension on the table, but after this season, I definitely could see the Ravens keeping Jaire Alexander around. I'm happy that he's in the 23. I don't think 32 is a terrible number for Trenton Simpson. He wore 30 when he first came in the league. I didn't love that, but 32 is what it is. And then Awuzie going to 3, Bo Braid to 25. I like all those numbers, man. 25 reminds me of Tavon Young, so hopefully, I know they play different positions, but it'd be cool if Bo Braid could even have like a Tavon Young impact before the injuries. But either way, I'm rocking with all these jersey changes. Moving on to some other news, we got all the training camp official dates and the dates that the passes go online for fans to get if you can get some. But the first practice will be on July 23rd. The veterans report on July 22nd. The rookies report a week prior to that. August 3rd is the open stadium practice at the bank. August 3rd is also my birthday, so that'd be kind of cool to go to. August 5th, we have a joint practice in Baltimore with the Colts, and then the final practice with fans is going to be August 13th. Moving on to a little bit of AFC North news, we obviously know that Aaron Rodgers went to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we will get to see him twice this year. But that's going to be the only times we're going to be able to see him because he just went on Pat McAfee and said that this will be his final year. And he's trying to ride off into the sunset with the Steelers. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it definitely seems like this is it for Aaron Rodgers, and he's trying to go out with a bang. I don't think the Steelers are good enough to be a Super Bowl contender, but Aaron Rodgers is a wild card. You know, you never know. He could tap back into something that he's had before. You know, he definitely is a great quarterback. I'm not downplaying Aaron Rodgers' talent. I just don't think that the Steelers have enough, but I guess we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. We got a tough division. Can't wait to battle through it again. I still think that the Ravens should be favorites, and I'm a little bit more worried about the Bengals offense than I would be the Steelers or anyone else, but it's an interesting dynamic. I think it'll be definitely entertaining. The Ravens-Steelers games get a little bit more juicier when you got a caliber quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, so, you know, they're trying to swing in the AFC North. I don't hate that they're trying to go for it, but I don't think that they got enough. But like I said, we'll see how it plays out. The Rashod Bateman contract numbers officially came out. He is under contract through 2029, where he'll be 30 years old, which is crazy. But the cap number for 2025 is going to be $4.8 million, and then 6.5 in 2026. 2027, it's 10.9. 2028, 12.9, and 2029, 14.9. Looking at the guaranteed numbers, he's guaranteed $1.75 million in 2025. He's guaranteed $6.5 million in 2026, and then nothing else is guaranteed. So there's no guaranteed salary for 2027 through 2029. He gets a $250K workout bonus and a $500K per game roster bonus. This is still a steal of a contract. Even that 2029 year, I know the cap hit goes up to $14.9 million, but think about where the salary cap is going to be in 2029 and think about where the wide receiver market already is. And $14.9 million is still an unbelievable value, especially that many years from now. So I'm sure there'll be some kind of contract situation before he gets to 2029. I'm sure whether it's going well or not, if it's going awful, the Ravens might want to get out of it because there's no guaranteed money. If it's going amazing, I'm sure Bateman in 2027 or 2028 might be wanting another deal. But regardless, across the board from now until then, I think this is a value contract. It's also good for Bateman. I don't want to say like he got screwed or anything. It's hard for him with what he went through to get top dollar in the wide receiver market. Like Zay Flowers is going to get a lot more money than Rashod Bateman because Zay was producing from jump. And Rashod Bateman had a lot of injuries that he went through, wasn't involved in the offense when he first came back. Last year was the first season that he finally got that production that we knew he could have. So he's starting to have a lot more leverage, and I think that's what this contract is. It's security for him. It's still solid money, but it is a team-friendly deal in this era of inflated wide receiver contracts. So I definitely think that the Ravens got an incredible deal to have a player like Rashod Bateman locked up for this many years at this contract value. The last thing I wanted to talk about in today's episode is why Mike Green hasn't signed yet and why the majority of second rounders in the NFL haven't signed yet. This is not a Mike Green and Ravens issue. It's definitely more of a second rounders versus the NFL issue. There's definitely a little bit of collusion going on from the NFL owners, again, to not give guaranteed money, right? It's a constant fight between the players and agents and the NFL doesn't want to give out as much guaranteed money. So this is the situation. There's still 30 second-round picks that have not signed their deals yet. So that's why I was saying this is not a big deal between Mike Green and the Ravens. The dilemma really stems from the Houston Texans were very quick to give their wide receiver Jaden Higgins, who was the second pick in the second round, they gave him a fully guaranteed $11.7 million contract, which is the first fully guaranteed contract for a second-round pick in the history of the NFL. The only other second-round pick who signed his deal is Carson Schweisinger from the Cleveland Browns, linebacker, and he also got a fully guaranteed deal, not surprised since it's the Browns. The next highest selected unsigned second rounder is Seattle Seahawks Nick Emanwari. So whenever he signs his deal, I think that's the first domino for the rest of the league to get their picks done. So whenever he signs with the Seahawks, whenever a lot of the other top picks in the second round start signing their deals, you'll see a snowball effect all the way through and Mike Green's deal will easily get done. But right now, pretty much the entire second round is not signing their contracts because the first second round pick or the first guy to sign got a fully guaranteed deal. And that's unprecedented. So it kind of goes back to that Deshaun Watson situation years ago where Deshaun Watson got a fully guaranteed contract. The Watson situation was a lot bigger because it's a lot more money. But it's a very similar situation where someone hands out a fully guaranteed contract, which has never happened before for a second rounder. And now all of a sudden, everyone's like, hey, we want guaranteed deals too then. Like, what are you doing? Why would we take way less? There's a ton of evidence of collusion back in that Lamar Jackson situation where a lot of owners are making excuses why they weren't interested in Lamar when he was available, which was just ridiculous. But the reality is there was kind of a gathering of owners to say like, hey, we don't want to keep giving out guaranteed contracts. Because if Deshaun Watson got the guaranteed contract and it wasn't an outlier, and then they go sign Lamar Jackson to a fully guaranteed contract, well, guess what? Every quarterback, every top quarterback from then on out has to get a fully guaranteed contract. And all the owners are like, hey, we are not there yet. We're not even close to being there. We're not doing that. So Lamar didn't end up getting a fully guaranteed contract. He got a great contract, but he didn't end up getting a fully guaranteed contract. And then now on a smaller level, we're dealing with this again in the second round picks because the Texans gave out a fully guaranteed contract to their second round pick. And everyone else is now in line waiting for their guaranteed contract. I don't think it's going to happen, though. But we'll see how it plays out. It's an interesting situation, but it's more of a league situation than it is a Ravens situation. Mike Green will sign his contract and be out there for the Ravens this year whenever everyone else does in the second round. So just wanted to kind of highlight those details. I've had a few comments come my way that were like, what's going on with Mike Green? So I just really educated myself on the situation further and dived into the details and learned that it's an entire league situation and not just Mike Green. Mike Green and the Ravens are fine. But that's it for today, guys. Appreciate you as always. Let me know what you're thinking about everything and have a beautiful rest of your day. And I'll let the greatest linebacker in the history of the game take us out.
Ravens flock. The flock rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. The flock rundown. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.